but I'm back.
Hey, it's me, your dry skin.
You hear
Advanced
commercials in the
Therapy
back because I'm about
Facial
to play a
Steril
song
Finish or
because
24-hour
we're about to
hydration,
celebrate
SPF 50 protection. The White House.
Stefan Diggs is
Therapy
not
demanded
guilty.
by skin. Discover CeraVe hair care.
Bitches relying on him,
Reinvented with dermatologists.
and he beat the charge. Stefan Diggs not guilty. So, in honor of this, in honor of the fact that Stefan Diggs is not guilty, you gotta feel me. We gonna we gonna play something in honor of that. We'll just take 10 seconds of it at best because I don't want to get copyrighted. And then we're gonna get into the meat and potatoes of this conversation. Hopefully, I got people that's gonna rock with me on this. We'll see. If not, we'll see how it goes. But let me turn on my desktop while we wait for the song to play. So, what's up to the people who are incoming into the chat room as we speak? But yeah, um, Cardi B was at the. That's it. That's all. So I'm here to address uh, the whole male lonelies epidemic BS. I've talked about it before, and briefly in my live streams and on a video with one of my friends. But it's fugazi. It's fugazi. The whole male loneliness epidemic is fugazi. All right. You got all these talking heads talking about it, and it's not a real concern. Like they're saying it in a sort of triumphant way when they talk about it, like as in women have came up. That's why these guys are lonely or whatever. And then there's this fake concern about them only because women are invested in what they can get out of men. They don't really care. But even if they did genuinely care, it's not a real thing. Are there lonely men out there? Yeah, there's also lonely women out there. If there is any epidemic, there's a lonely people epidemic. Excuse me, epidemic. But there's no lonely men epidemic. It's just fugazi. This is largely spurred on by either older people who are used to more um more socially overt ways of bonding, and particularly amongst women who socialize differently than men. Men on average work longer hours than women, and once they get off from work, unless you live in Japan, you're not probably wanting to go hit bars and do that dumb shit. Women expect men to socialize in the places and times that they socialize. And when they don't, they think these men are uh, social recluses, and they're not. Men can socialize with each other differently. Like women need to bond together in a sort of like hive or whatever you want to call it. And they like to socially congregate together and uh, physically. Men don't have to do that. Like especially like grown men. Like a lot of guys will get off of work and socialize by getting on video games and chatting up with each other over video games, or or another place where guys do physically bond together is a place where not too many women go, which is the gym. A lot of guys socialize together at the gym, but guess what? The average American woman is fat, so they're not hitting the gym. So they wouldn't know that there's a lot of men bonding with each other at the gym. On top of that, some of them don't consider that bonding. They think bonding means going to spend money eating and drinking, which again is why most American women are fat. They're fucking fat. They they expect guys to go to these socials, you know, these like these little mingling type events, and it's like, oh, the men aren't showing up. Why aren't they showing up? It must be a loneliness. It must be a man loneliness epidemic. No, it's not. We just don't want to do what you bitches want. So anyway, there's no man loneliness epidemic. There are lonely people out there, both men and women, and that is a legit thing to to be concerned with. Those folks probably could. Some of these people end up being therap you know therapized for no reason. I'm making up the word therapized. Going to therapy when really they just need a good friend. A lot of people who go to therapy could just use a good friend. That's all. A lot of men who go to therapy um, might need a good friend, or they could just use extra money in their life. They'll probably be better off working a second job where they can create more disposable income to live a better life than they would sitting in some counselor's chair for an hour a day, wasting their money on therapy. Man, Shay Man, a coach says, lead American ladies alone. Bro, you ain't never lied. This is why I was telling someone earlier, another YouTuber, but I sometimes chat with her on Instagram. Shout out to Saraya Brooks. Um, she, she was saying, I miss I miss this old sort of music, and she was playing Shy, If I Ever Fall in Love. If you've never heard of Shy or the song If I Ever Fall in Love, you can watch the video on YouTube. They did two versions, which they both knocked out the park. They came from Howard University. I only knew that because my father used to shout out every single damn famous person out of Howard University because he was a professor there back in the 90s. And he's like, yeah, he said, yeah, these brothers are from Howard University. I'm like, okay, cool. So the first song that came out was If I Ever Fall in Love. And so they had the regular release of that, right? Then they did an a cappella version just to say, hey, no, we can actually sing. We don't even need any background music going on. We'll just sing this a cappella. And both of them are hits. Well, back then, both of them were hits. The regular LP version and then the a cappella version. And they made music videos to both of them. They came out at the same time as SWV, if people remember SWV, Sisters with Voices, who I used to love SWV. Because I like Coco's voice, the lead singer of SWV. Anywho, so so Soraya was like, I miss this sort of like love and intimacy and deep connection, like with this song. And she's not American. And I was like, American women don't inspire this sort of music to be made anymore. They don't inspire love ballads. Instead, you hear Sexy Red talking about bow, bow, bow. This is a booty meat. Dun, 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 dun. This is a booty meat or whatever. All those strip hoppers, Sexy Red, Glorilla, Lotto, Nicki Minaj, even though she's trying to change colors now. Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, all these whores. But back to what I was saying, there's no male loneliness epidemic. There is a loneliness problem, but that is more of a that is not a gendered issue. That is a generational issue. That is a generational issue, not a gender issue. Younger people don't know have a lack of social skills. That is what that is. The loneliness, so-called loneliness epidemic, is a generational issue, not a gender issue. Males, by and large, are not lonelier than women. They just socialize differently. They don't have to gather together in these little hive-like social gatherings to feel bonded with each other. We can go to the gym, or we can just um, talk online, sending each other like you know dark humor memes, sharing very dark humor and other sorts of things that would make us toxic. That doing stuff like that, or over video games. I don't play video games, but a lot of guys do. I don't have a problem with it. A lot of guys play video games and they socialize that way. Like I said, on average, most men work longer than women. So the last thing they want to do when they come, once they get off work, is go to some gregarious bar. Like, no, like you just spent like, you know, 8 to 12 hours at work, right? Pretty sure you don't want to go out to some bar chasing, looking for women to get rejected at the end of the day of a long day of work. If you wanted a female attention, it'd be just easier. So it would just be easier to find a prostitute or go to a Asian massage brothel. At least you'll be getting pussy at the end of the day. You don't have to be worrying about, am I going to blow $300 on a date and never see this person again. Now the younger me wouldn't have said that. I'd have been like, no, you should date. Blah blah blah. No, no. The wiser me now says no. Why waste time going on a date and to figure out if you're compatible? Meanwhile, you just spent a portion of your paycheck trying to impress someone who doesn't even like you, or might just want a free meal out of you, or wants to go on like 20 more dates before they figure out whether they want to make this a relationship. Meanwhile, you're like wasting tons of money on this person who just demands this. No, you could just instead spend $200, $300 and trick off on some prostitute, or go to a nice Asian massage parlor where you get a massage, you get a tape. Well, you get a and I'm gonna go there, guys. I'm gonna tell you exactly what happens. You go there, usually the mama san or whoever invites you in when you knock or on the door, hit the bell, and bring you into like some um, little meeting room, right? And they'll assign you someone unless you request someone specifically, and you know depending on the place, you'll get like a table shower. When I say table shower, it's literally a table shower. Like they will, you know, undress you, put you on a table, and proceed to wash you, you know, a la table shower. um, then they would dry you off by putting you like in a sauna for like for like maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and bring you into the room and proceed to massage you and ask you, do you want to? They'll politely and discreetly ask you if you do you want more than that, and they will ask for a tip, and there you go. You will be well satisfied, and it will be a good use of your money compared to spending $300 on some entitled bitch who you may never see again, or who may tell you, well, thanks for the date, but I don't see this going anywhere. Now you're out $300 trying to impress someone that you got nothing out of. At least at the Asian massage parlor, you got a table shower with a sauna, a nice little massage for like maybe 10 minutes or so just to warm up. And then you got to blow her back out, kimchi style, Gangnam style. It's like, I'm serious. Even though most of them are Korean spas. Anyway, so, but no, at least that $200, $300 actually went went to something tangible. You got your nut off, and you were treated well, as opposed to $300 feeding some hungry bitch who at best will decide we can go on another date so you can have the privilege of wasting more money on the bitch. And then it's up to her how many dates you have to go on until she finally lets you hit it, if you do at all. Nah, I'm good. So this is why guys aren't going to these little um, dating mingle events. They're not going, they're not doing the speed dating bullshit. They're not doing brunch. I don't know how many women used to ask me to go to brunch when I used to um, be on these online dating apps, and I did do it once, and it was actually fun. But I didn't realize then, because I was so blue pill at the time, that this was like par for the course for these people who date online. Is, yeah, let's go to brunch. Man, fuck brunch. No straight man's like, I sure could go to brunch. Man, fuck that shit. Man, I'll take a bucket of chicken. Like, brunch. So you can overpay on some toast and eggs. What do you fucking do? So yeah, I didn't know any better. 10 years ago, I'm going to some fucking brunch in Columbia, Maryland. It was nice, but it wasn't worth. First of all, I'm not even like, I wasn't driving, so I took my Uber all the way out there, and then she drove us to this place because I didn't even know where it was, or ever heard of it before. So she did drive. So once I got to up to her place, mind you, not even to her house, she just met me somewhere near her house, and then we went off to this place, and we went to go eat twice. Both times were like a fucking brunch. First time it was at some place that just served random selection of brunch food. Then the second time we went to some Indian place, which was good as well. But I'm not doing brunch again. This shit's stupid. It's fucking dumb. Like, why the fuck I want to come all the way out my way to eat breakfast food? I mean, salute to people who love breakfast food. I don't. I'm not get like, or if they love breakfast food but they eat it in the lunch and evening, I get that, like at IHOP or Denny's or something. I get that you go to Denny's or IHOP because you love breakfast food in the evening or lunchtime. That's cool. But I'm not getting up in the morning to go off to fucking brunch. Man, fuck that shit. So women, because they don't realize, because modern women completely don't understand anything about men, they think if men don't act like women, then men must be suffering from some problems. And the whole male loneliness epidemic stems from the fact that women don't realize masculinity is a separate culture from femininity. I'm going to say that again. Masculinity is a separate culture from femininity. Masculinity is a separate culture from femininity, meaning men have different social behavior and norms. What a surprise. Said no one who was not gay or female. But anyway, um, yeah. So again, guys don't socialize the same as women. Like, again, life is expensive today. So most guys, after a day of work, don't want to go blow a bunch of money after work, nor do they want to deal with a bunch of gregarious people who probably don't even work, which is why they're already at the bar by the time they arrive, um, getting blottoed. Unless, or they're, if they're like college kids or in their early 20s, sure. Grown men, you know, who are already into their, may still be in their 20s as well, but are already well into their career, and those in their 30s and 40s are not trying to wild out after work. Again, if you just been at work for 8 to 12 hours, the last thing you want to do is sit there be dancing and drinking all night long. You're probably tired, probably just want to get home, turn on turn on your video games, um, eat some pizza or something like that. Maybe you do want a beer, but you probably want the beer in the comfort of your own house, not around a bunch of people that you feel you have to impress. Nor do you want to, nor nor would it be feasible as much as you miss your homeboys that you know from college and high school. That it would be pretty hard for look after college. It's gonna be pretty hard to meet up with all your friends that you may have seen like every single day on like when you were in college. Like I have friends, we literally hung out every single day. Our girlfriends used to get mad at us like, "What are you dating your friends? What are you fucking your friends?" Like I've literally had this conversation. I've literally had this conversation with former girlfriends back in college because they were mad that we were always hanging out. We enjoyed each other's company, but guess what? That ends after college because we all go on to separate careers. Some of us move to different locations for our careers. Other of us, end up getting married earlier than others. So life, so it becomes different for us to socialize. Like we can't all just hang out every day like we did in college. So instead, we socialize through again video games, um, talking on social media, occasionally getting together for something like whatever, like doing a guy's trip to Colombia or something. You, you know what I'm saying? Um, but when we do get together, we don't go to places where women like to gather. So because women don't see us in the open the way they are, they think we're lonely and that we're like um, social recluses, and it's not the same. Some guys are comfortable in their own skin, just hanging out at home, going to the gym, stuff like that. Like a lot of us, and again, if women do want to see guys out and about, the the um the most likely place to find is places like the gym, or I see a ton of dudes doing MMA and Muay Thai. Um, I see guys at the gallery, and I'm talking about masculine men, not effeminate men. Most of these women despite how much they talk down on traditional men, want traditional men. No matter how much they talk about the patriarchy and toxic masculinity and all that bullshit, they still want to fuck traditional men. And traditional men do traditional fucking things. So we're at the gym, we're doing MMA. You might see some in the some at the firing range, at the, the gun range. Um, you'll see some at the sports bar. Like I sometimes will go to a sports bar as well. I don't drink, but I'll like get sports bar food. I had one woman criticize me for eating food at the sports bar. Like, oh, that's so unhealthy. So what, bitch? I run 7 miles every day. I think I got this. I think I got this. All right. I was like, besides, like, why do you even care? Like, anyway, I hate American women. I swear to God. But anyway, these are the women lying, and they have their little supporters, men supporters who are simps and panderers who play to this whole, oh, it must be a male loneliness epidemic. They're not make they don't make as much as we do. We're more educated. Look how we go out, and the guys don't show up. Blah 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 blah. Meaning they don't really care about whether guys are lonely or not. They just want guys to be there to show up for them. So it's not even it's not even a genuine concern to tell the truth, to be serious about it. Not even a serious concern. And I know I'm ranting here. Um, let's check through these messages. It's almost you can almost tell the people who are foreign because they say that they leave the dumbest messages, or the ones who are like obviously like minors because they just sound fucking retarded on this bitch. I mean, the message they leave in the chat room, which you guys can see. But yeah, I don't mind if someone wants to push back or if they want to give their thoughts on this as well. But yeah, it's not really a male loneliness epidemic. It's just there is a loneliness epidemic, but it's a generational issue. It's not a gendered issue. It's mostly among younger folks, um, the younger millennials and Gen Z who are having a harder time socialized because they have a lack. One, they have a lack of social skills. Two, two, um, they don't have the same events that we have. Like going clubbing was the thing for Generation X the the elder millennials. That was our thing, clubbing. I mean, there's still clubs today, but most people don't stay out that late anymore. A lot of people pride themselves on getting up early and grinding. Um, and for most guys, it's not even worth going to the club anymore. It's not like you it's not really like dancing. Like a lot of the women are all looking for the top G. um, and so they're not really just dancing with regular dudes. Um, or they're waiting for a guy to buy them bottles and all this sort of stuff. We didn't like we just danced back in the day. Um, I remember some nights it was just so crowded in these clubs, and I'm talking about particularly in DC. It some of them nights were just so wild and fun. I'm glad we didn't have cameras on back then. But man, it is so like a big thing like going clubbing. It's not clubbing culture is. I mean, there's still people who go clubbing, but clubbing culture is largely dead nowadays. So that's one thing cut off to younger folks. Um, Like clubbing is still alive overseas, but here, not really. People just like, don't get me wrong, people still hit clubs or whatever, but that's not really the happening thing anymore, like it was back in the early 2000s, late 90s. Like, from the 90s to the early 2000s, clubbing was like a culture. And so without that, again, you don't have you don't have men and women intermingling like, like we did back then. Like it it got so like it was so much fun with clubbing. Like I know I'm harping on it, but I'm just like going back into nostalgia lane here for a minute. Like we used to have parking, what we call parking lot pimping. So after you came out of the club, everyone was in their car, um, either in their car driving around the parking lot, seeing who's, seeing what's going on, or people were just, hanging out within the little parking lot area, you know, trying to meet up with other folks. I'm sure there's a lot of Gen Z that were a result of of us clubbing back in the 2000s. Yeah, from the late anywhere from 97 to 2012. Well, no, not. I think clubs were already dead by 2012. I'm gonna say, so I'm gonna say anywhere from like 97 to mm, 2004. 97 to 2004. There was probably a lot of Gen Z babies made around that era out of bad decisions coming from the club. uh, but in any case, look, there are some lonely folks out there, and again, to those who have who are suffering that loneliness, maybe they need to talk with a counselor, and that counselor can help them learn certain uh, adaptable social skills to be more successful in their social environment. Um, Others might just need to start doing things where they can be around other people. And again, these women, if these women get out their own asses, they can they'll find men who are out and about. The thing is, men are out and about, but they and these younger guys, and so um this is a sort of a segue to the next my next live stream. I'm gonna do a live stream where I actually defend Gen Z. And if anyone knows my content, you pretty much know I kind of hate Gen Z. But I'm gonna do a I'm gonna do a live stream where I defend Gen Z. But excuse me. But yeah, a lot of Gen Z men are about preserving their peace. So they still go out, but they go out on their own terms and go to places that they enjoy. They don't go to places to find women anymore. They go to places that they enjoy. And women don't understand that because women socialize differently, because masculinity is a separate culture from femininity. Women again like to socially gather physically and do things as like a as a as as a group. Guys are just more sigma oriented. Like they go off and do their own thing. Um, but when we do go together in groups, well, do stuff that we enjoy, which stuff that guys tend to enjoy. There's not a lot of women around, except for the gym. There are a lot of gym going women. However, I don't think they're the best ones to talk to because a lot of them are wannabe gym influencers. Even the ones who aren't gym influencers, more than likely they will shut a guy down unless they already deem him like super attractive. So probably don't want to holler at the girls at the gym unless they give choosing signals. Unfortunately, a lot of guys don't know what choosing signals looks like, so that's another issue. But anyway, got if the women want to find the men who are outside, like go to the places where those guys are, they're at the gym or they're training MMA. Uh, they go to places like comic book stores and anime stores. They go to sports bars. Um, all things that I do, by the way. Um, a lot of them are a lot of them are just saving up their money so they can go overseas. Like a lot of guys like me just don't do anything that much at all. Save our money and then we go overseas and then we have fun overseas. And a lot of women don't know that. I mean, they should because it's been exposed for like the last couple of years now with the passport bros and the expats and all that sort of stuff. But a lot of guys just save up their money and then wait till they go overseas. They might, you know, save up and go overseas once a month or every couple of months or whatever whatever their cash flow allows them to do. They'll pretty much just save their money and then just um, have fun when they go overseas. And a lot of women also don't get that. A lot of these guys aren't even checking for them anymore. They are just done with American women and be like, nah, bro, I'll just save my money and I'll go to Colombia, Brazil, DR, Thailand, Philippines, and there's some other places, but I'm not going to name them because I don't want to ruin that for the people who go to the places that aren't already talked about. But there's other places. Those are the places that people already know about. The guys are going to Colombia, Brazil, DR, Thailand, Philippines. I'm not going to name the other places that are more low key because I don't want to mess that up for the guys going there. But yeah, that's what guys are doing. Like I said, so they either socializing by like video games, hitting the gym, training MMA and Muay Thai, or Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, um, going to the gun range, going off to like comic books stores and anime gift shops, um, going to the sports bar, um, uh, and other stuff like that, or just saving up their money and waiting until they go overseas, like I do. Um, and like I said, a lot of these guys are just about preserving their peace. Women have been like dogging them out on social media for 10 years and thought there would be no repercussions to this. They're like, why won't guys approach us? Because you literally had 10 years online of telling guys not to approach. It's like you do want guys to approach, but you only want the guys to approach you whom you already find super attractive. So that means any other guy who isn't that way, you're gonna dog out. So why should guys even invest their time? And then a lot of these guys who you weren't initially attracted to, then you want after you've written the dick carousel for 20 years, now you want to settle down with the guy you used to consider too lame or square because you realize the stability makes for a healthy relationship. Those guys have already moved on. So what are you gonna do? But anyway, there's lonely females out there, there's lonely males out there, but there's no male loneliness epidemic. That is a facade, a fugazi, fake. A it is a catchy it is a catchy headline, but it's not really back. I mean, it's sort of okay. So there's behavioral data that backs up this. But again, when you look at it more closely, it's really a generational thing than it is a gender thing. Uh, but since I don't have anyone really commenting, um, I'm gonna kind of leave it there. I can only rant for so long without having some sort of conversation back and forth. And it's hot in her. It's getting hot in her. But yeah, getting warm. Getting warm. And I'm glad because originally I was gonna do this live, like dressed up, and I'm glad I didn't. it would have been it would have been a wasted effort. But we can carry this on another day because I'm probably gonna touch on this subject again in the future. But hopefully with like other people I can bounce ideas off of and vice versa. But since I don't really have anyone in the in the live stream saying anything, I'm gonna leave it there. Let me scroll through. Yeah, because I mean, yeah, I checked my chat filter, so everything should be copacetic. Yeah, man. Um, but in any case, uh, I mean, do people disagree? Do they agree? Do they agree somewhat? Disagree somewhat? Have another twist on it? Um, think I'm misinterpreting the data on this. What I mean, whatever. Be willing to hear that all that stuff out. You know, but if so, then you can leave it in the comments. Also, guys, you can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com. The link is in the description. It helps me stay up so I can do these live streams. So I'm not tired. I'm not too tired right now, but I'm starting to fade a bit. Um, if I get off, I'm gonna wind down before I go to bed. But you can buy me a coffee to keep me up so I can be up and about talking about this stuff. Not gonna be up late at night like I used to last year, but I will stay up, for the duration of a live stream. So if I start one early and it just happens to go on for hours, that's fine. But if not, that's fine as well. Um, or you can just support me financially by dropping a super the link. You can see the buttons right here on the screen. You can drop a donation any amount is fine. Whatever you like to donate. Or you can go directly to my Cash App. That way, YouTube doesn't take a bite out of it. It goes directly to me. So whatever you want to decide, that's cool. It also helps me buy fruit snacks and helps me buy camping gear for Mrs. Contrarian, who I think has some more content for me to upload on here shortly. Until then, guys, I'm out. Peace. Like I said, leave your comments where you agree, disagree, male loneliness epidemic or not, made up, not made up. Is there female loneliness epidemic? Is it just a loneliness epidemic amongst younger people, older people, none, whatever? Let me hear your thoughts. Peace.